element is meditation. Meditation is an important element of satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw our consciousness from worldly objects, direct it inwards, and focus on a single thought. In doing so, our consciousness becomes elevated, and we can experience states like nirvana, peace, light, and love. Our minds also become calm, and our thoughts become pure. Inner satsang. There are two types of satsang: outer satsang and inner satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. Through the practice of outer satsang, we have the potential to improve our behavior, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness like nirvana, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we practice meditation in silence. Group session. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress on our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. Only through the practice of inner satsang can the joy state be achieved. When we practice satsang, our inner happiness is gradually increased, ultimately culminating in a joy state which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And now, our agenda for today. There'll be 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and an interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about satsang, the founder, or some related spiritual topic. During the practice session, instruction will be given on how to meditate, followed by a period of meditation. During the interactive session, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his relatives achieve states of peace, light, and love. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj. At a very early age, he began traveling throughout India, conducting satsangs. Upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife began conducting satsang for satsangees. In 2005, he began conducting online satsang, whereby people from all over the world were able to participate, even those in the remote villages of India. He continues to carry on his mission to teach all satsang who are willing to learn by traveling throughout India and the United States while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
So I'm Sanjeev Kumar. Today I'm in Jaipur, India. This is my grandfather, Guru Maharaj, Dr. Chaturved Sahaji, who established Ramashram Satsang Matra in 1930 and tried to establish a very unique inner pursuit to find inner peace within ourselves through his prescribed meditative practice referred to as satsang. He really created this process which hundreds of thousands of people, maybe millions of people have taken advantage of it and achieved higher consciousness, higher level of awareness. And basically it's a way of manifesting transcendental energy in form of light. And that's a transformative experience for a whole lot of people who were looking for deeper meditative practice, which will uplift them to much higher levels. This was a transformation. I talk about the target state of this meditative practice as light, love, and peace. And I have seen people who achieved that state. Actually, I came to this definition when I was trying to describe what I saw in some of the leaders, some of Guru Maharaj's followers who became role models for a whole lot of people because they achieved that level where they had enormous unconditional love for everyone. They were at peace at almost all times. Their ability to perceive or see clearly is called Gyan. It's like the knowledge that makes you understand more about others and the nature and things that make you understand that how integral nature is to us, or how we are interconnected, and not just humans but all conscious beings. Just when that knowledge dawns, it's transformative. Once you know, once you understand, love just is right there. Because once you realize that everybody is connected to you as you're connected to your family, then you would start, or even like they're as integral to your own self, and your own health relies on everybody around you. Once you understand that, then unconditional love, you don't have to make any effort. It's right there. It's just, it evolves from within, and it is strong and it is powerful. It's not something that fades away. It evolves further. And once those things are in place, then peace comes with it, because the things that were causing lust, anger, envy, all those things, and status, and all those things, the emotions, the desires, the expectations, all of those kind of dissolve in this state, because you know. It's like how you live with the family. Sometimes you would rather do something for them than just focus on yourself. So once that transformation happens, your level of awareness, your consciousness is said to be beyond description in some ways. So that is what happens when you manifest transcendental energy and positive energy, or Sat. And when you're in the company of Sat, which is Satsang, that's the target state. What I would say is that Satsang basically means that you are in that amazingly transformative, positive, uplifting energy. And not only that, then you can achieve that, but then once you are in that state, everybody around you is effortlessly in that state. So that's the concept which sometimes is very hard to understand, because we are not in that state. We cannot fathom how somebody, one person, achieving that target state of satsang could transform thousands of, hundreds of thousands of millions of people. And you can do that. And Guru Maharaj was able to do that. And when people used to come and sit with him, they were effortlessly in light, love, and peace. I have personally seen my grandmother, my uncle, some of Guru Maharaj's followers that I had the opportunity to be with, and their company was in itself satsang. If you want to understand a little more, when you practice satsang, what happens, I actually joined a satsang. One of my class fellows from Singapore was conducting that. So he was talking about his guru, and they talked about FIR, the frequency, intensity, and recovery time becomes less. So ups and downs do come. Emotions and desires and other things affect our internal state. But then FIR, which is the frequency of that happening, the intensity of those emotions, for example, or the recovery time with which you go back to normal continues to reduce. The frequency continues to reduce, the intensity continues to reduce, the recovery time continues to reduce for all the outer world's impact on you. So that's the power of satsang. So welcome everyone. I would like to just start with saying that it's a privilege to be here to share some knowledge that actually helped me for my first 40 years. First 40 years, I was fortunate to be born in a satsang family. I utilized this meditative practice, and there are other dimensions to it which I utilized within my life. But then I thought, from what I have seen as effect of satsang, I should kind of share with others. And this is just a way to share what made me calm in situations where all I would say is, like, I saw this light, love, and peace in people who had practiced this session and this satsang, and that's what we are here to learn. So upfront, typically we start with some discussions on the topic, and we're already in that mode. Thanks, Eddie, for sharing the high level what satsang is, and we saw the video about the power of satsang. I would talk a little bit about inner peace before I go into how to meditate, specifically about this method. And that instruction essentially is the guided part. So this guidance is not like, as you meditate, there is, a kind of supporting voice. The guided part here is you start with instructions, and then there is music, which helps you transition into a deeper meditation. And then the actual meditation is in silence. That whole process, the way my grandfather had designed it, is to take you into much, much deeper meditative experience. And I hope all of us will be able to get to that deeper experience through this process and today. So in a few minutes, as I said, I'll provide instructions, then there will be music to transition in, then there will be 15 to 20 minutes of deeper meditation in silence, and then we open up for some discussions, as well as anybody who wants to share any experiences or questions, and so on and so forth. So first, before I talk about how to meditate,
let's go a little deeper into what is inner peace and why we all seem to find that, peace is so elusive. So first of all, what is peace? Interestingly, Guru Maharaj, as my grandfather was known or referred to, he wrote a 7-volume book on his journey through the processes and how he got to the really high level of awareness and consciousness. So he talks about a state where there is no emotional upheaval. So we talked about this FIR, where frequency, intensity, and recovery times keep reducing of these emotional upheavals. But he says, like, when you get to a state where there is no emotional upheaval caused by the desires being fulfilled or not being fulfilled, that is the state of peace. And he, in one of his conversations that's documented, he says, that should be the universal religion, that should be the universal duty of every human being, that we get into the pursuit of, finding this land of peace. He gives example from this definition that, let's say, anger caused by a desire not being fulfilled would, disturb our peace. It could also be, any happiness or sadness that comes in, or, because of the desires not being fulfilled. So let's just keep going with that. So when you are able to succeed in achieving what you desire, there is a resulting happiness, and the opposite is true as well. So unhappiness takes over when we are not able to achieve what is desired. Sometimes anger, sometimes envy, sometimes sadness comes along with this unhappiness. So Guru Maharaj talks about getting to a place where there is no good or bad desires, and that is where there is no emotional upheaval. And and then he adds that this state where there is no emotional upheaval is the state of real happiness. He goes further and says that when you get to that place, that is enlightenment. I mean, people say, enlightenment is it's just this pursuit of inner peace, and which once you get to that place, that's where the real joy is. That's where, that's what is referred to as enlightenment. There are some videos that I have posted on YouTube where the target state of satsang is light, love, and peace. And all these things come together to describe enlightenment, essentially. So then the question is, like, okay, so if peace is so elusive, then there must be challenges and hurdles in the path, right? Why we are all not able to get into this land of peace when we want to, right? And so then he says, he immediately goes to the biggest challenge. And that's what, I'll talk about for a couple of minutes, and then we'll get into the practice, which will help us build the individual practice, which will basically create this journey, the internal journey towards the land of peace. So he says the biggest, of the challenges or hurdles in pursuit of peace is worry. Now, what is worry? Worry is a primary cognitive characteristics of anxiety. And that has been described as chain of thoughts and images, usually negatively affect laden, and relatively uncontrollable. So the content of worry typically concerns future events whose outcomes are uncertain, but contain the possibility of one or more negative outcomes. As so this is how NIH defines that. And according to Guru Maharaj, worry attracts and consumes our mind so strongly that it can affect us pretty badly. And we all kind of sort of know that it distracts us. He also says that once you are in the clutches of worry, it's hard to be successful in anything. You sometimes lose sleep, you lose your appetite, your health gets negatively affected, and your mind is no longer in the joyous state that it needs to be. And sometimes it will affect your self-confidence and motivation. So he says that getting out of the clutches of worry is peace. Worry is a strong force that creates turmoil in the heart, and one who is free of worry is really, really free. The person at peace lives in the present moment, and that is also one of the byproducts that you get from any meditative practice. And living in present moment means that you're not caught up in the past or the future. So this is the bottom line, that just by meditating, we can physically, mentally, and spiritually connect with peace. And, for the beginners, it might just be for, you might just get a glimpse. You might just, that connection with peace might be transient. But when you practice, so it's all about practice, practice, practice. When you practice, you will find that, it gets deeper and deeper, and your connection then gets stronger and stronger. So now comes, so I think in some of my future sessions, I'll talk a lot more about the solution. Here today, just to keep it brief, what I would say is that Guru Maharaj talks about, as a solution, obviously meditation helps, but he says, let's break this down a little bit. And what he says is that if some thought, like especially negative thought, is taking charge of your mind, what do we need to do? So one option is you create an alternative path. So the effect is reduced. Another option that, he provides like some yogic research as foundation is like replace that with a completely opposite thought. So replace a negative thought with a positive thought. And the other thing is understand and implement some deeper mind control methods like meditation. So basically satsang does all of these three things. It provides an alternate to the worrisome thoughts that are coming at us. It provides a very positive, uplifting. So we will, when we practice meditation, and that's what I'll get into shortly, is we talk about transcendental energy being with us, uplifting us. And that thought is completely opposite to any negative thoughts that might be surrounding us or consuming us in any way. Yes, it becomes difficult initially, but as you practice and as you, Guru Maharaj talked about so many, in so many books, he talks about like how you should do this, where and how should we try to, steer ourselves towards, getting to a land of peace through this meditative practice. So we will open up for questions and some discussions later on after the practice. So let me get into how this, I still refer to this as guided meditation, but the guidance here is just instruction up front. And then there is music to transition in, and then you meditate in silence. It takes a little bit to get to a deeper state of meditation, but practice, and we do these sessions every week. You're all welcome, and we also this is also available live on YouTube. I think in the chat there will be a link to the YouTube channel. So let's get into the practice. So number one, the idea is to focus on transcendental energy in form of light that's completely, becoming one with us. We are becoming the transcendental energy. So number one basic thing is that we sit in a relaxed posture, so that, people sit on the floor or on the chair. Just keep your, spine straight, eyes lightly closed. And so relaxed posture and eyes lightly closed both do the same thing, that they would minimize the distraction that we will get, because every time the body moves, your mind moves with it. So we want to minimize that. And eyes get sensory input. So eyes lightly closed. So we stop that as well for the time of the meditation. And music will help us concentrate. So that's there to transition in. Now, throughout the process, while the music is running and while we are in deeper meditation, after that in silence, you have to make this. So first we concentrate on this thought. We want to manifest transcendental energy. And that slowly will become reality in deeper meditation. So think of this transcendental energy that is right here with us, and it's in form of light that's entering our heart and then distributing throughout our body. So we are getting completely immersed in this amazingly powerful, amazingly uplifting, and it's like essentially enlightening us, and every part of our body is becoming filled with this transcendental energy. So what happens is that for beginners, even advanced practitioners, mind wanders away because we're not doing anything. We're just observing this amazingly positive energy, which is in form of light right here with us, and that's entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming totally immersed in this light. So when we find that mind has wandered away, we bring it back. We bring it back to the same thought. So we find that it has gone somewhere else, we just bring it back to the same thought. The thought at this time of meditation, at this time of practice, is just that there is this transcendental energy surrounding us, and it's in form of light, and it's entering our heart and then distributing throughout our body. And we are becoming one with this light. We're getting completely immersed in this light. So we'll have some music, and then it'll stop. We'll continue the meditation in silence, and then there will be music to transition out. And once that is done, then we will open up for discussions and further questions. Let's start now. So let's, I hope everyone got into a deeper meditation today, and would definitely like to hear from everyone how that went. So now we will open up, enable the video and chat. So you could either raise a hand through reactions, I think. And if you your videos will once you put your videos on, you will come into the panel automatically. And if you put any question in the chat, we will pick that up either today. We'll try a few questions today, and then we can always post it on YouTube and take it for another session. Yuan, I do not see all the videos that are on here yet. So I found it hard to stay in the enveloping golden light that I was trying to manifest. So, typically what I say is that meditation should be effortless, or as effortless as possible. And like right now, I am in a room full of light. I don't have to make any effort to be in this light. So think of that energy that's here with us, like this natural light here, and don't make too much effort. And that, I think I've heard from many practitioners that they get just too wrapped around that. There is a note that need more practice. It was a good session, but need more practice. And that goes for all of us. And someone is saying that they got into a transcendental state, which is amazing to hear. Sometimes I feel it's, higher consciousness, higher awareness is kind of overrated a little bit, in the sense that we all should naturally be in there. And I think at the top of the hour, it's this is an interactive session, so those who have time can and have questions, I think, can continue. So people, if some of us have to get busy with other things, that's fine. From the folks who have their videos on, thank you. And anything, any comments from John, Nancy, Maria, Alfred? I think you're muted. Can somebody help unmute? Yeah, John, I think you're. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if there's a hand raise feature. I was looking for that. I think the interesting part was really just the drift is tough sometimes, where you find yourself thinking about what you're going to eat for breakfast, whether or not you put gas in the car, whether or not you're dreaming, and all those things. And that constant process of trying to refocus on what am I doing is again, I'm not seasoned as probably some other folks, but learning how to just slow those thoughts down, accept them, put them aside, and continue on that journey was sort of what I went through.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. It's I think as you're saying, there are so many other things that are going on. So how do you put them aside, especially before and during the meditation, is very important. And people don't realize how important the transition in is. So you can't just switch. So music, the reason I talk about, inner peace or satsang or what works, what doesn't work upfront is that you switch. So there is a time that is needed to switch. So I call that transition in. And then even like transition out is fairly important, which sometime I'll tell why, how I realized the transition out, which seems like, hey, I'll switch off and go and do other things. But what I realized was when you are in deep meditation, it takes a little bit of time to kind of go back, just a little bit, but yeah, that's transition out. So that's why we keep some music there. John, did you want to say something here?
I was just going to say, occasionally I had difficulty keeping myself from sort of going into dozing off rather than having, just sort of falling into a sleep state rather than a meditative state.
Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, I actually watched a video on YouTube about sleep versus meditation. And while personally, I feel that, in today's world, when sleep is, so many people are sleep deprived. So if during or through this process, we are able to sleep, I find that a positive. But then that the YouTube, a video that I watched talked about sleep versus like a meditative state. Meditative state is a very awake state. And so while I definitely think that if we're able to sleep better, even like you can try this, like before sleeping, if you try this approach that you're surrounded by this transcendental energy, you will have better sleep, I'm telling you. But being awake in meditation is important because it's an awake state. So I guess we need sometimes have to make a little bit of effort towards that.
Ji, there is a question in chat from Mitra. They're asking, how can I stay focused so that I don't drift away to the events in my life?
So that's what is called practice, because the instructions very clearly say that's the only thing you need to do, right? But we all do drift away. That's why the instruction is always done before the session to, kind of, during the meditation, that instruction ought to guide us in some ways. But good transition in is important. Music, mindfulness, a lot of other things could help. Even chanting can help in terms of transition in. It's very natural that happens. So this whole process of identifying that, okay, my mind has kind of, done its natural thing to just, go away onto its own. bringing it back, and then that's very, very important. So transition in is important. Bringing it back is important. And what I find is, and I'll just be, I'm just being very sincere, throughout my practice, which goes decades, there have been ups and downs, but keep the practice on. That's one important thing. But what I did find the most beneficial to me was group sessions. Group sessions have their own uplifting energy, collective energy. It becomes, I mean, it may not be, the right thing to say, but you become like a captive audience for some time when you are in the group, especially in person, and that just makes you be in that mode. So yeah, all that should help. So any other questions? I think it's 11:07. I think I can go for a few more minutes. Teresa, how was your session? I think
I found it very helpful. I've tried to meditate on my own, and I agree with you. Being in the shared experience with your guidance and other people around did help me a lot. So I'm going to try my own again, but I will look forward to more of your group sessions.
Yeah, and these group sessions, we put it on YouTube as live sessions too. So in case, we always like, first is like in person is the best, which sometimes is very difficult, travel and all that, and commute and stuff. And then these online sessions, interactive sessions, I think I have always been, it's a two-way, exchange. The collective energy just, I think requires that. But YouTube definitely, is like when I am in a place where, people might get disturbed because of the noise in the background or whatever else, and I still want to be in this mode. But, YouTube can be a non-intrusive way to still attend. Another thing that I've asked the volunteers to do is we will post on the YouTube channel, which is in the chat, a daily practice. So it will be like a maybe 30 to 40 minute video clip, which will have the instruction, the music, because a lot of people asked me, like, when I do meditation on my own, can I get this music to help? This music, there was a traditional prayer that my grandfather in the 50s designed with the notes to help the meditation. So I have converted that into music, the prayer, and that should help the meditation. So we'll post a daily meditation playlist, so you could pick any one of those, and that could help your individual daily meditation. Prescription is that you meditate. I think my grandfather used to say, this is for people who have their duties around, the family, around work, around other things. Just take 1 hour out for your own personal spiritual growth. So it could be any time. You could break it half hour in the morning, half hour in the evening, because you want to start your day with, this transcendental, amazingly uplifting and positive energy that has charged you. And at the end of the day, cleanse yourself again. So any negativity and any negative energy that you have, been affected by, cleanse that too. So that would be ideal. But I'm telling you, because of my work and my other schedules and, 3 kids and so on and so forth, it becomes hard to find time. But I always tried to have a group session that I could attend every week. So that kept my practice going.
Priyaji, there is more questions in chat.
Yeah.
So Mitra is asking, how close is this to hypnosis? Second question is, should we be hungry or should we have food for meditation? I'm new to this.
No, so let's take one at a time. So the first one about hypnosis, while my grandfather did write about hypnosis in his 7-volume book on his journey, but like sleep, there might be common elements, like sleep refreshes you, meditation refreshes you, but it could be like a power nap style refreshment and refreshing in terms of meditation. So hypnosis, my grandfather was not very in favor of. He believed that kind of, instead of like you are evolving and imbibing positive energy in this process, it's a very, uplifting experience, and you go through ups and downs in this process too, and you have to somehow keep it moving. But hypnosis is more of, affecting the natural process. It's not natural as this. And Jessica, thank you for attending. Thanks for the note. What I would say is that while they're, like positive affirmations, are they hypnosis? Not really. So is this meditation hypnosis? No. Do we, there might be some common elements, but I think this is very different, and there is no attempt, to move in that direction here. What was the second question, Shivangi?
It was about food. Should they eat before the meditation?
Oh, well. So this is, touching on something that I have yet to introduce in the English sessions. So a lot of things, including the traditional prayer, I kind of converted to music. The initial discourses, I converted to a talk on inner peace, etc., or some topic like that. The discourses at the end, we have put into Q&A, which I find, engage us in the right way, in, and it kind of raises our understanding, as well as, when other people share what they're experiencing, that really helps. So overall, I feel that, we have brought lots of things from the traditional sessions, because this has been going on since 1930, so almost a century. And northern India was where a lot of the initial activity was. For the last 20 years. We have been doing in various parts, but initially the focus was to engage people who somehow knew this. Now we're opening it up further. The one piece that is still missing is the food. So if you look at, initially the group sessions, not all group sessions, but the bigger sessions. So, that there used to be an annual meet in all big cities in northern India. And that would be 3 days, 5 sessions, first day morning, evening, second day morning, evening, and fifth day morning. So it was like a retreat. And each session was followed by food. Not only that, when you meditate, if you keep some, nuts or some sweets, some food with you, what would happen is that food is also then charged with this transcendental energy. Then when you consume that food, that transcendental energy that you just imbibed just now through this meditation, this food that you're consuming, which is also charged, will stay in your system for, a whole day, maybe a couple of days, and hence you will be further charged for a longer period of time. So from the traditional sessions, there always used to be that aspect that food is kept around when you're meditating, and it is consumed after, but you have to be careful on what you keep. Should be, not all food is, positively energizable. So there are there is food which is naturally positive, energy inducing, and so, and also the reason that you consume food after is because meditation is a mental exercise, and our brain, which is a very small part of our body, but consumes 20% of our energy. So, some, food consumption after meditation is important. So I would pause there. So anything else, or we're ready to wrap up?
No more questions per se, just
good stuff. So let's share the YouTube link again.
There's another question.
Okay. Yeah, that would be the last one for today then. Sure.
Yeah. Besides the scheduled sessions, is there a good time to do it?
So if I go back, some of the yogic research suggested dusk and dawn, which would convert to early morning hours and early evening hours. Somewhere I read it is 4 to 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Ideally. But my grandfather was of the opinion that today's lifestyle and how busy we get, he said he was extremely flexible when it comes to what time we should be meditating. But 15 to 20 minutes where he would say start your practice, 15 to 20 minutes daily, and whatever time that works for you. But I do say that humans are creatures of habit. So if you create a day, like a time of the day and a place, so that when that time, that place will kind of move you into that mode, then your meditation will be effortless during that time. But as I told earlier, I used group sessions to help me ground better. And I'll just being very sincere, if I was to do individually, I was at one level. As soon as I sit in a small group, it multiplies the level that you achieve effortlessly. And if it's a larger group, I'm telling you, I have been to India where sessions had thousands of people, and the collective energy there is just through the roof. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And on that note, the link that you use today, you can use the same link. Tuesdays, Eastern Time, US Eastern Time, 7 p.m. And, Saturdays, it's 10 a.m. Same link works, and YouTube channel also, there is live streaming during that time. And Teresa, can somebody unmute?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I will try my phone next time, and maybe the volume could be controlled better.
Sure, no problem. And yeah, really enjoyed it. John, anything, or Alfred, anything before we wrap up? And it was great having you all here. I really, really enjoyed this session. And keep the questions flowing. You could leave the questions at the YouTube channel as well. I'm trying to get more consistent on posting YouTube videos. This time when I went to India in September, I have recorded a few, so those will be coming soon. And we are starting a Substack newsletter. So for those who have shared the email, we'll start sharing that newsletter every week. And thank you so much. We'll see you all soon. Have a great week ahead, and we'll see you all soon. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev.